ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम् इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे। रथ्याचपट विरचित कंतः पुण्यः पुण्य विवर्जित पंतः योगी योग नियोजित चित्तो रमते बालोन्मत्तवदेव। कस्त्वं कोऽहं कुत आयातः कामे जननि को मे तातः इति परिभावय सर्वमसारं विश्वं त्यक्त्वा स्वप्नविचारम्। त्वयि मयि चान्यदैवोऽनुः व्यक्तं कुप्यसि मय्यसहिष्णुः। भव समचित्तः सर्वत्र त्वं वाञ्छस्य चिराद्यति विष्णुत्वम्। शत्रौ मित्रे पुत्रे बन्धौ मा कुरु यत्नं विग्रह सन्धौ। सर्वस्मिन्नपि पश्यात्मानं सर्वत्रोत्सृज भेदाज्ञानम्।
Clarification. Is inquiry into I using different approaches required because the reality that the individual places to the world is as good as how much reality one places to the body, mind, intellect. Meaning the reality of the world is dependent upon how real the body, mind, intellect is. Will inquiry help the individual to stop giving reality to the body as well as the world and see them as it is? Is inquiry into I using different approaches required because the reality is the body, mind, intellect is real, the world is also real. Will inquiry help the individuals to stop giving reality? Systems. Inquiry into the I is necessary. Why the inquiry into the I is necessary? It is necessary because you cannot conceive of anything if there is no form. Even to recognize you are there, you need you recognize yourself only through the form. Remove your form, can you recognize yourself? Can you know who you are? You can never know who you are. Since you recognize yourself through the form, necessarily you have to recognize others also through the form. So inquiry of I is inquiry into the form. This is the formula. Are you able to follow? The inquiry of the I is inquiry of the form. I don't know. I used to think like this, whether anybody here has thought like that. You go to sleep and your face is so completely changed. In the morning, will you be able to recognize yourself? When you see yourself in the mirror, at least you'll be confused for a few minutes, won't you? So how do you recognize yourself? You recognize yourself through the form. Since you recognize yourself through the form, by default, how will you recognize the world? Through the form only. Therefore, in order to go beyond the form, you need to inquire about the form. Then only you can transcend something. If you want to really go beyond the form, what you should focus on? Formless, no, sir. If you want to go beyond the form, you must be able to inquire into the form. By inquiring into the form, the form, the I gets dissolved, whatever remains, remains. But very difficult for a person to go beyond the form. That is why everything we have to give it for each and everything, we have to give it a form only. Only by giving a form, you will know yourself, you will know somebody else. That's why if they come with the changed form, you will ask who you are, no? Isn't it? Supposing, what is called makeup. Supposing I put a makeup, the wig and long hair and beard and everything, I come and sit in the class. Actually, what will you think first? Actually, what will you think? Somebody else has? Somebody else has come. Maybe you will start checking your password. Maybe you will think whether you have gone into the proper Zoom account or some other account. Why? Because the form has, when the form changes, you will not know how to recognize anything. Therefore, you become so dependent on the form. When you become so dependent on the form, the world also will be the same. Therefore, inquiry into the I is for what? Inquiry into the I is to expose what you think as a form is not. What you think as a form is not a form. What you think it as a real is not that real. Remember that example, the person walking into the room is not the person who is walking out. Already the form has changed. But we don't see it, we don't recognize it. Therefore, we become so dependent on the form. So what is the knowledge teaching us? By inquiry into the I, always remember this. Inquiry into the I is not like who am I? Who am I? They go on asking, no? You must ask this question, who am I? You should ask this question, who am I? This who am I is a digging. You are digging deep into yourself. Again, this who am I is nothing but a digging deep into yourself. Let us do this inquiry, because that's what the verse is also saying. Kastvam koham. That's the verse we are currently studying, no? Huh? That's the verse we are studying, isn't it? There is a prefix and then there is a suffix. The I has a prefix and a suffix. What is the prefix and what is the suffix? Who am I? Immediately you will say, I am Vijaynath. Adana pa peru? Huh? Adam peru. Okay. Who am I? I am Vijay. What is the prefix here and what is the suffix here? The I is the prefix and the name Vijay is the suffix. Now we are segregating the two. That is inquiry. The very inquiry means analysis. The very word analysis means breaking it up into, the English word analysis means breaking it up into parts. You break it up, you break it up, you break it up. Why do you have to break it up? Because only when you break it up, you can understand it rightly. Therefore, you have to break. So by breaking it up, you come to an understanding. What is that understanding? Various ways in which the I is understood. Now, not the prefix I, the suffix I. Whenever we do the inquiry into who am I, we are inquiring into the suffix, and then by eliminating the suffix, we will get stuck at the prefix. You cannot actually do anything to the prefix. Suffix that you can do. Yeah, prefix and suffix. Who am I? So now, whenever this inquiry on the I is done, we are inquiring about the suffix. So what is the various way in which the I is investigated and understood? From one angle, the I is defined as spirit plus matter. That is one definition of the I. Oh, not very clear. Okay, forget this definition. There is another definition. I equals karta plus bhokta. Doer and experiencing the consequences of the doing. Karta plus bhokta. Another definition. What is this karta? What is this bhokta and all, sir? Okay, another angle. I equals the various roles that you play. Remove those roles, you will not know. Remove those roles because those roles give you an identity. Remove those roles means removing your identity. What is left behind? You will not know what is left behind because that's why we cling on to the roles. Yeah. Another way. Okay, this inquiry is also not appealing. The Upanishads doesn't leave us. Till we leave Upanishad and say, we have heard enough of you, thank you, and we get fed up and leave. But Upanishad doesn't leave us. Look at the way the prefix and suffix, the karta plus bhokta, the spirit plus matter, the roles, the various roles that you play. Okay, that is also not clear. The I is the three bodies: gross body, subtle body, and causal body. Gross body is made up of the jnanendriyas, the instruments, the jnanendriyas, karmendriyas, and then the mind, mano, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. That's where in the Atma Shadakam we start singing by saying mano, buddhi, chitta, ahankara, na aham. Why say that which I am not? Why can't I simply say I am not this? I am naham, naham. Naham means naham. Atma Shadakam itself is an inquiry into the Atma Shadakam itself is an inquiry into the I. You go and prostrate to the Guru will ask you a very innocuous question. Who are you? He will ask you. The answer that you give, he knows where you are stuck. That's all. Don't try all this. Huh? Yeah, trade secret. Oh, that's why. Who are you? Unsure. Don't say I am Brahman back. Huh? Copying. Who are you? Something you will say. By the answer you give, it is known where you are stuck. That's how the Guru assesses the. There are various ways. You won't know. You won't know in what all way you are being monitored and assessed. Thank God you don't know. Yeah, thank God you don't know. And thank God you don't see what he sees. That is also you must thank God. Yeah. If what he sees in you, you start seeing in you, you will not want to do anything. Yeah. So Shankaracharya went in search of his Guru. 8-year-old boy, he went in search of the Guru. And he found the Guru in Narmada banks. He found the Guru in the Narmada banks. He was sitting. Govinda Bhagavad Pada. Yeah. His name is Govinda. Pada, we keep adding. All that comes much, much later. His name is only simple. Like his name is Shankara. His Guru name is Govinda. So he was waiting. The Guru was busy attending to something. He was waiting. That's how the Shankara stories talk about the meeting between the Guru and Sishya itself is a very beautiful meeting, the first meeting. So Shankara was waiting because there was a group of villagers there came to him for some problem they had. Something got flooded and there was some issues there, and the whole lot of villagers came to him seeking for some help. He was sorting out all that, and Shankara was patiently waiting, looking at this entire background. And then when all of them left, he looked at this young boy and asked, "Who are you?" Who are you? Immediately he will give our biodata, isn't it? Yeah. Who are you? அப்படின்னா பாலசுப்ரமணியம். Who are you? என்ன சொல்லணும்? அபிவாதே அப்படி சொல்லணும் இல்லையா? Who are you? அப்படி சொல்லணும், isn't it? Who are you? விசிட்டிங் கார்டு எடுத்து கொடுக்க கூடாது. பேங்க் பேலன்ஸ் எல்லாம் காட்டக்கூடாது இல்லையா? Angirasa, that Gotra, that thing, that Veda, that Sutra, all that we should say. Correct? அதெல்லாம் சொல்லணும். Shankara gave a different answer. Manobuddhi chinta ahankara naham, he started. I am not the mind. I am not the buddhi. I am not the chit. I am not the ahankara, which is the subtle body made up of. So, who's this I now? Gross body, subtle body, causal body. இது வரைக்கும் ஐக்கு எவ்வளவு டெஃபினேஷன் கொடுத்துருக்கிறோம்? Prefix and suffix, karta plus bhokta, spirit plus matter, roles. Vijay, ஒழுங்கா நோட் பண்ணிடுவாப்பா. Whenever I miss something, நீ தான் எடுத்து கொடுக்கணும் இல்லையா? I keep forgetting. And then body, mind, intellect, and then gross body, subtle body, causal body. If that is also not there, the pancha koshas, annamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, pranamaya, all that. And then the 3 states of who am I? The waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. And then there is an obvious I, and then there is the I that has to be found out through inquiry. இதெல்லாம் தான் கொஞ்சம் philosophical. இது வரைக்கும் சும்மா general. There is an obvious I, and then there is the I that you have to find out through. There is an I that you have to find out through inquiry. So there are these two. There are these two I. By investigating into all this, by asking all this, by thinking all this, what was the answer that was found? All this I that I am describing in these various angles of definitions is nothing but a form. Is nothing but a form. And this form, is it real? Why do they say, is it real? Because at one point of time it is there, at another point of time, one point of time it is there, at another point of time it's not there. Last evening, one of the very close persons came to talk, and I told him to do a few things. He did something. Some aunt of him passed away, and he did some funeral, etc., everything for that person. Old lady, 91-year-old lady, without any, nobody wants to come. He's calling everybody. Nobody wants to come. Even those who come saying, I have other things to go. So they all left. And he has to hire two people, take her to the crematorium. And the crematorium person also said, sir, lunchtime, I'll finish off everything. And he finished everything and he went for his lunch. He's saying, in that entire crematorium, I was the only person sitting all by myself, he said. 2 hours. So I said, that is the most blissful 2 hours of your life. Don't forget it, I said. The most blissful time that you can get is that. Who will get a chance to be conscious in crematorium, I said. All of us will go to crematorium unconscious. You got a chance to be conscious there. No, enjoyed it. That see, what happened to that form now? What happened to that form? It's digging. It's digging. So we don't come to the answer of it is unreal. The problem with us is we want to, because we have heard so many times it is unreal, we have fixed the answer first and then we want to somehow arrive at the answer. It is like in math class, last page of the book, you will have all the answers, correct? Sometimes I don't know whether it is like that or how it is now, I don't know. You go to the last few pages of the book, the whole answers will be there. So you can find the answer there. And then what will they do? The question is there, the answer is there. Now you have to arrive at the steps. You can never arrive at the answer. Why? Because answer has to be derived. Answer should not be predetermined. Are you able to follow? Therefore, what is the I here? The I is not to expose unreality. The I is to inquire into the form. Don't say it is to expose unreality. It means you have already concluded. Are you able to follow? Our problem is we know the answers, we have by-hearted the answers, we have memorized the answers, and then we are trying to arrive at the question. Therefore, what is the purpose of this inquiry? The purpose of this inquiry of I will be meaningful only under one condition, when you have an identity crisis. And I can't see anybody having any identity crisis. You have other crises in life. Do you have identity crisis? Does anybody here identity crisis? Nobody has identity crisis. Identity crisis in the means you are not confused as to who you are. No. You say, I am this and I have a problem to sort out. Correct? Everybody here says, I am this and I have a problem to sort. I am this and I have a problem to sort. I am this and I have a problem to sort. The inquiry of I is not for this person. The inquiry of I came from whom? Who is able to discover this I? Who was able to understand these very many angles to this I? The identity crisis. What is identity crisis? Wanting to know who? Wanting to know who am I? Identity crisis will come when In English, it's called identity crisis. In Sanskrit, the technical word. The technical word for identity crisis in Sanskrit is mumukshatva. A mumukshu is one who has this identity crisis. He's confused. He's confused. We are also confused, but our confusion stems from a different angle. But that person is confused. What is that person's confusion? The confusion of wanting to know, who am I? Because what I think is me doesn't seem to be me. Because by the time I catch hold of me, I'm changed. By the time I think this is me, I have already changed. Or I need to hold on to the past memory to continue the I. I have to hold on to the past memory. By holding on to the past memory, I continue to think, this is me, this is me, this is me, this is me. Iti paribhavaya sarvamasaram vishwam tyaktva swapna vicharam. This inquiry, this inquiry, this inquiry. Therefore, this question of the I, what is I meant in this question? What is the need to ask? Why are you asking? Carefully follow. Whom are you asking? To whom are you? Because the suffix I is asking the question, I, who am I? And the answer also will be provided by whom? The suffix I only. Therefore, you become the questioner and you become the, you ask the question and you give the answer. And it is always true. The answer that you give is the most convincing answer, correct? Even though it may be, even though it may be blabbering, but to you, your answer is the most convincing. Why? Because it is, it has come from you, isn't it? Remember that example he gives always. Complete works of Shakespeare on one side, you have written 4 sentences, all grammar mistake, no nothing in that, and you only call it as poetry, and nobody else will even understand it as poetry, and you keep both in front of you. What will appeal to you? The complete works of Shakespeare or your 4 sentences? What will appeal to you the most? Your 4 sentences, the way your eyeballs expand, when you look at your 4 sentences, complete works of Shakespeare cannot. Kalidasa doesn't stand alone. Kalidasa is supposed to be the, yeah, Shakespeare in English is also wrong. Sanskrit we say Kalidasa, and nobody can be, and nobody can beat that man. Yeah. Vagartha sampraktau vagartha pratipattaye jagatah pitaro vande Parvati Parameshwaro. How he starts that entire thing, Kalidasa. Will Kalidasa look appealing, or you don't even know Sanskrit grammar, but you make 2-3 words? What will appeal to you more? So the question comes from you, and the answer also comes from you, which is not an inquiry at all. Therefore, the I inquiry comes from the one who feels that the identity is lost. What makes that person feel that the identity is lost? The form has been discarded. The form has been understood as not. The form has been understood as not me. Okay, if this is me, this is me, this is me, the fear of death is so much, no? Why the fear of death is so much? You sagave kuda, sir, isn't it? Why the fear of death is so much? The form is gone. And when the form is gone, you don't know what's happening. Therefore, so much of obsession to the form. Yeah. One small wrinkle here, one small wrinkle there. Yeah. Suddenly I look like an 8-year-old man in the classroom, isn't it? Next week you will have a different avatar next week. Yeah. Puja temple over, then you will, so suddenly 30 years is lost in your age, sir. What 30 years? Nothing is changed. Same thing. Form changes. In all this continuous change, the question is, who am I? Are you able to follow? You can ask, who am I? Or you can ask, what is this? What is this world? That is also constantly changing. So you can come from the two angles of inquiry. Actually, there are three inquiries that needs to be done. The first inquiry is about yourself. The second inquiry is about the world. The third inquiry is about the God. Okay. Jiva Vichara, Samashti Vichara, and Ishvara Vichara, Atma Vichara. More inquiry we have to do. Of the three, at least start with one. The other two will be, you don't have to do all the three. In the classroom, we keep doing all the three, hoping that something will hook you. Yeah, something will hook you. How many here have heard or seen this movie Random Harvest? Okay, who has not known the story Random Harvest? Yeah. Venkat, groupல அந்த movie link போட்டு கொடுங்க. Whoever has a video தான், at least movie they can watch. Yeah, put that. Yeah, remind me, we'll send that link. Beautiful movie, Random Harvest. Where that fellow lost his identity, he'll be having a key in his pocket. Yeah. That fellow meets with an accident, and the only thing that he has is a key in his pocket. So every time he keeps looking at the key, not knowing what that key is. Such a beautiful movie that is Random Harvest. Watch that. It's a novel made into a movie. இதெல்லாம் part of the course there. All this movie is part of the course. It's a beautiful movie. He meets with an accident, and then he goes to an asylum, and then he just walks out from the asylum one day. That period he forgets. But all that he remembers is one key. He comes out, he does this, something he does, and his wife finds him out, but he can't recognize her. So the wife joins him as his secretary. The wife joins in his business as a secretary, and this man tells her that, see, I'm dating. I'm dating this girl. Do we make a good match? To whom he's asking this? To the wife. What a wonderful lady. And no, it's a beautiful movie. And then there is one strike in the nearby, town where he runs a factory. He goes there, he sorts the problem out. He comes back. Everyone is happy because the strike is withdrawn. As he is walking back, he touches his pocket and he doesn't realize that he doesn't have a cigarette. So he asks the person here, do you have a cigarette? He says, no, I don't have a cigarette. He tells his secretary, There is one tobacco shop round the corner. Go there and get the cigarette. Yeah, that's the. He turns back and says, have you been to this town before? He says, no, this is the first time I'm coming. Then how do you know that there is a shop inside that road? How did you figure out? He also gets a shock because he also didn't know. He goes there and then he traces his back. And then he traces step by step by step. He can trace back and then he understands the key that he has is the key to his house. He goes back to his house, opens the door, and he finds the wife standing there. Coming, beautiful movie. And all that is what that man lost the. Every time he's always looking at the key, not knowing who am I. Are you able to follow? We don't have this crisis at all. For we know who we are very clearly. We know who we are, and also we know what we want, isn't it? First thing, I know who I am. Second is I know what all that I want is one tender, sir. That's all. Yeah, that man is very clear. He thinks he knows who he is, and also he knows what he wants. All that I want is this tender. All that I want is the last few months, the stocks have wiped me out completely, sir. Hoping that it is going to. So everybody seems to know very clearly what they. Everybody seems to know very clearly what they want. And what makes them to believe what they want? What makes them to say, I know what I want? Stems from the clarity, I know who I am. Are you able to follow? Therefore, this question is not to expose the unreality, is to inquire into what I think is real. Is it that real? That's all it is. What I think is real, is it? It is real. Is it that real? The answer is, whatever be the answer, do that inquiry. Are you able to follow? So, the world, therefore, to summarize the answer, you recognize yourself only through the form. Therefore, any recognition we have of others is also through form only. That's why we hold on to the form. Because we can recognize anything through the form, God also must come in a form only. God also must come in a. You follow? Because you are lost in the. When you are lost in the form, you are lost in a specific form. One nama rupa, you get attracted. You get attracted to one nama rupa, or you have vijigupsa to another nama rupa. So when you have attracted to one nama rupa, obviously you will have vijigupsa to some other nama rupa. Okay, the very nama rupa that you are obsessed to, you will develop vijigupsa to the same nama rupa later. Now what will you do? Are you able to follow? You are obsessed at one point in time, and you have vijigupsa at another point in time. If it is to between two different objects or beings, it's okay. But it happens to the same. This self-observation made people to go deeper into life. Those who went deeper into life got certain answers, and they are teachings. Are you able to follow? Because that's what happened to most of us. Go through that, but we don't care about it at all because we are so preoccupied. For a few, it is like, no, this must be, this has to be figured out. This has to be found out. There is a beautiful story in the life of one of the great saint. one of his devotees used to live in a nearby town, 4 kilometers away. So every day that man will walk, see the saint, and then go back and have food. Every day, every day it's a practice. By and by, that person became old, he couldn't walk, he couldn't travel. So one day he came with a lot of strain and said, "Hmm, how can I not see you and have my meal?" So the saint said, don't worry. What time is your meal? What is your meal time? 1 o'clock. Don't worry. Every day, 1 o'clock, you open the door, I will come. Every day, 1 o'clock, you open the door, I will come. Okay. Next day, from now on, don't take the strain of coming all the way. I will visit you. Said, okay. First day, 1 o'clock, he opened the door, waiting for the saint to come. A dog came. He chased the dog away. Next day, 1 o'clock, another beggar came. 5 days, except the saint, everybody else was coming. Seventh day, he got so frustrated, got all the energies and went back to the saint and said, you cheated me. Said, why? You said, I will come, but you never came. He said, no, I came every day, but you chased me away, he said. I came every day, but you chased me away. What do you mean I chased you away? First day I came as the dog, you chased me away. Second day I came as the beggar, you chased me away. Third day I came as a sickly person, you chased me away. Don't worry, even in this form, if I come, you will not recognize me, he said. So whatever form I will come, including in this form, you will never recognize me. Why? Because you are stuck to the form. How can you be so sure that you have recognized me? He asked. How are you so sure that you have recognized me? Because I'm seeing you in a form. Are you able to follow? Because I'm seeing you in a form, I can recognize you. And if the form changes, I can't recognize. It means recognition of a form is no recognition at all. Remember, this is the law. Recognition of a form is not recognition at all. Why it is not a recognition at all? Because you are dependent on the form. And for the form to exist, you are dependent on your eyes. And for the eyes to function, you are dependent on your mind. இவ்வளவு instrument வேலை செஞ்சாதான் you will say, I know. Is this knowing? Is this recognizing? Somebody had a problem. This is not recognizing, and they did an inquiry and they found out something. Are you able to follow? This is the inquiry of who? This is the inquiry of who am I? Kastvam koham kuta ayatah kame janani kome tatah. So he's not asking about the actual names here. He's not asking about the actual names. He's not asking the name of anybody here. What he's asking is, all these have contributed to the form, and form contributes to another form, and two forms interacting with each other, assuming that we have known each other, assuming that we have understood each other, will result in what? When two forms says, I have recognized each other, it means it is no recognition at all. When two forms says, I am in love with each other, it's not. I don't know, whatever it is. You follow? Vishwam tyaktva swapna vicharam. Vishwam tyaktva swapna vicharam. That in the scripture, that the dream analysis is always given a very high is always given a very high importance. Not that other analysis is not that important, because the dream study, the dream analysis is in one of the very beautiful Upanishad called Mandukya Upanishad. There's a sentiment to that Upanishad. Because of the sentiment to that Upanishad, they always have this thing about dream. And it's a very beautiful inquiry into the dream. The I inquiry is a beautiful inquiry. Consciousness inquiry is Kena Upanishad. Consciousness inquiry is Kena Upanishad. There. Death inquiry is Kathopanishad. Waking dream deep sleep inquiry is Mandukya Upanishad. Panchakoshas, another. Therefore, all these explanations, all this is what is to explain one thing. What is that one thing? The way that you are giving exaggerated value now, don't give. The way that you are giving exaggerated value to everything. What is that exaggerated value? What is that exaggerated value? Exaggerated value means without this, I cannot live. Exaggerated value means with this, I cannot live. ரெண்டே தான் exaggerated analysis. இது இல்லாம என்னால இருக்கவே முடியாது சார்னா அது ஒன் எக்ஸாஜரேஷன். ஐயோ இது கூட என்னால் இருக்கவே முடியாதுன்னா, and we live life only through this, and we live life through these exaggerations only. Exaggeration, unless you exaggerate, you cannot dream, you cannot hallucinate. Mind has to hallucinate. Mind has to live in fantasy. Mind has to fantasize. Mind has to hallucinate. The mind that has to fantasize, hallucinate needs exaggerations. All this inquiry is aimed at what? All this inquiry is aimed at teaching us only one thing. What is that one thing that it is teaching? Clip the exaggeration and look at it as it is. And then see, will you crave for it so much? Clip the exaggeration and see, will you long for it so much? Will you crave for it so much? The moment the exaggeration is clipped, you will become you will develop vairagya, you will develop sannyasa. Because you will say, it's not, இதெல்லாம் இல்லாம கூட I can be happy, sir. You can say, without any one of this also I can be happy and blissful. But you cannot say that, because the mind is so dependent. Dependency is because of what? A dependency is because a very deep-rooted conviction. What is a deep-rooted conviction? I cannot live without this, whatever be it. Or another angle. What is another angle? I can't live with this. Oh, this body has become such a torture. Yeah, head to toe pain only, isn't it? Look at any part of the body, pain தவிர ஒண்ணுமே இல்லை, isn't it? Not only there is full of pain, and there are infinite solutions also people give, isn't it? Yeah, you can go, you can try this system, you can try that system, you can go to this doctor, you can go to that doctor, you go to this, you do this, do this, do this, do that. Oh my God. It's okay. Body will be in pain. It's okay. Straight away, the intensity of affectation is Straight away, the intensity of affectation is reduced. Are you able to follow? This is the meaning of this inquiry. Vishwam tyaktva swapna vicharam. Iti paribhavaya. Paribhavaya means ponder over it again and again and again. Go over it again and again and think over it again and again and again. Iti paribhavaya. Thus, thus, thus. Leave aside this Vishwam. Leave aside this Vishwam, which is born of, which is like Swapna. Which is like Swapna. Is it okay? Verse number 24, buddy.
मयि मयि चान्यत्रैको विष्णुः व्यर्थं कुप्यसि मय्यसहिष्णुः भवसमचित्तस्तर्वत्र त्वं वाञ्छस्य चिराद्यदि विष्णुत्वम् त्वयि मयि चान्यत्रैको विष्णुः व्यर्थं कुप्यसि मय्यसहिष्णुः भवसमचित्तः त्वं वाञ्छस्य चिराद्यदि विष्णुत्वम्.
In you, in me, and elsewhere pervades the one reality, Vishnu. In vain, you are angry with me, being impatient. Render your mind equanimous at all times if you are keen on the state of Vishnu. Again, in you, in me, and elsewhere pervades the one reality, Vishnu. In vain, you are angry with me, being impatient. Here. Render your mind equanimous at all times if you are keen on the state of Vishnu. Another beautiful verse. The first problem is you get greedy. You hear all this, you get so greedy that you want it straight away. You don't want to pay the price. Yeah, greedy. Greedy in artham. Greedy means you don't want to pay the price. Okay. Have you ever known the connection between greed and thieving? Greed and thieving. Have you ever known the connection between, have you ever even thought about the connection between the two? Greed in a thief no artham. Greed is nothing but you are a thief. Because what is greed? What is greed? Greed, no, wanting more and more, sir. That is not greed. What is greed? You want it faster, quicker, shortcut. So thief, who is a thief? A thief is one who is looking to become rich through a shortcut, no? So anytime you are making every time you are asking for a shortcut, you are only a thief. And a thief will be very impatient because he can't wait. Being impatient, you are unnecessarily getting angry at me. That is true. That's true. Huh? The most entertaining thing in life is to correct the teacher, isn't it? Yeah. The most happiest moment of your life is what? When you can correct your parents, when you can correct your teacher, what a joy it comes, no? Yeah. Why are you angry? Anger is an indication of what? You have, you are becoming greedy. A greedy one will be an impatient one. Mayi asahishnuhu. Mayi asahishnuhu. Asahishnuhu na sahichu கொன்றார் இல்லையா? பொறுத்துக்கணும்னு அர்த்தம் இல்லையா? சஹிஷ்ணு அது இங்கிலீஷ்ல எப்படி சொல்றது இல்லையா? பியூட்டிஃபுல் சன்ஸ்கிரிட் வேர்ட் சஹிஷ்ணு. சஹிஷ்ணுன்னா தமிழ்ல இல்லையா? பொறுத்துக்கணும், என்ன பொறுத்து போகணும் இல்லையா? Asahishnukhi means I cannot. Asahishnukhi means I cannot stand you. Why I cannot stand you? Because you are going on saying something which is not achievable quickly. Not only it is not achievable quickly, it looks like you have achieved it easily. Yeah. Looks like you have gotten it very easily. And why must I alone go through so much of pain and suffering? Who will you get angry at? Vyartham kupyasi. That anger is vyartham. That anger that you have is vyartham. Anger here is because of what? Anger here is because the speed with which you want the result doesn't. The speed with which you want the result to come doesn't come. When the speed with which you want the result to come doesn't come, what will be your state? You'll get, obviously you'll get angry. And when you get angry, what will happen out of you? What will come out of you? Out of anger, what will come? Love and affection will come, no? Out of anger, what will come? So much of anger, sir, I love so much. Huh? The moment anger comes, what will come out of you? Love and affection? Dvesha comes out of you. The dvesha comes out. Now he's saying, Vaiya Sahishnuhu. Maybe you would have experienced a lot of people getting angry, and maybe you would have experienced all that. You know, Ramtirtha says this, no? Rotten tomatoes. As he's walking on the road, rotten tomatoes, eggs are all thrown on us. They're all thrown at his face. Impatient, angry. If you want to get to that state of Vishnu, that is if you want. That is if you want. Everybody will say, I want. Saying I want makes no sense. Say, I want it and I'm willing to pay the price. Then only you want it. Again, simply saying I want it doesn't make any sense. You need to say, I want it and I'm willing to pay the price for it. And when you are willing to pay the price for it, it's different. Are you able to follow? What is the price that you have to pay? What is the price that you have to pay? You have to pay the price of letting go of the form. You have to pay the price. What is the price that you have to pay? You holding on to the form, you must let go of the form. That is the price. It is the price that you have to pay to yourself. You don't have to pay the price to somebody to get it. It is the price that you have to pay to yourself. So, if you want to attain the Vishnu status, what is that Vishnu status means? Technically, Vishnu status is not that Ananta Shayana Chaturbhuja Vishnu status. Yeah, not that. Yeah. What is that Vishnu status means? Vishnu status means that Advaita state, that state of Aham Brahmasmi. If you want to that state of Advaita, if you want to get to that state of Vishnutvam, what you need to do? Drop the differences. Drop the name and form. How do you know that you have dropped the name and form? How do you know that you have dropped the name and form? Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya, Bhaya, Dvesha. All this will not be there. If all this is there, you are holding on to a form. If Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya, Bhaya, Dvesha, if all this is not there, means you have dropped the form. If you have dropped all these, then you will be in that state of equanimity. So what you need to do to get to the state of equanimity? Drop the attachment to the form. Tvayi in you, mayi in me. Tvayi mayi cha anyatra. வைமயி சான்ய திரைகோ விஷ்ணுன்னு படிக்கிறோம் இல்லையா? அதை பிரிச்சு படிக்கும் போது எப்படி படிக்கணும்? துவயி இன் யூ, மயி இன் மீ, ச அந்யத்ர everywhere ekaha Vishnu. Ekaha Vishnu means there is only one God, Brahman. Poetry, yeah. Vishnu, Sahishnu, Asahishnu, beautiful poetry, Bhaja Govindam. Yeah. Forget that. We are not getting into the poetry class here. But then, once in a while you read that, it's so beautiful. Yeah. Ekaha Vishnu, but then Maya Sahishnu, Mayi Asahishnu. Why are you impatient? Why are you angry? Sarvasminnapi Pashyatmanam. Sarvatra Utsraja Bheda Jnanam. So Veda Jnanam Sarvatra Utsrija means give up the perception of differences. Veda means differences. You are different, I am different, this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong, this I like, this and this I don't like, this I want, this I don't want. Children fight. Yeah. Children fight. Remember? I don't know whether those biscuits are still there. No, biscuits will be in the form of giraffe. Yeah, beautiful. There are biscuits they used to sell in the form of animals, isn't it? All animals will be. Now, you will not even feel like eating that biscuit, isn't it? Because you want to keep it. Yeah, you want to keep that. And then they will fight also, isn't it? Oh, I got this, you got this, you got this, I got this. Mother is the great Advait thing there. Yeah. Because mother comes and says, all are biscuits only. What difference does it make? All of you eat and live. Who's the greatest Advait in there? Who sees the reality? The mother. Different names, different forms, but then you get attached to one form. Beautifully, in the 13th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, he says, Indriyarteshu vairagyam anahankara evacha. Janma mrityu jara vyadi Dukkha doshanu darshanam. The person who can see the dosha and the dukkha in everything. Dukkha dosha anudarshanam. Chapter 13. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verse number 9. He says, Dukkha dosha anudarshanam. Anudarshanam means one who can see it very clearly. As a result of the seeing very clearly, there is a detachment. The moment you gain clarity, that very clarity is detachment. So detachment means clarity. Attachment means, okay, if detachment means clarity, attachment means, don't say lack of clarity, ignorance. Attachment means ignorance. Detachment means clarity. What is the clarity? Dukkha and dosha. Dukkha and dosha is there in each and every form. All names and form, this is another formula. 13th chapter he gives. Everything has dukkha and everything has dosha. That dosha is what in English we translate it as package. Everything comes as a package, we say. No. Package means what? Package means what? Something you will like, something you will not like. Something will be appealing, something will not be appealing. That aspect which is not appealing is called dosha. That aspect which is appealing to you is called sukham. But then nevertheless, everything has these two. What is this? Dukkha and dosha. Anudarshanam. The person can see it very, very clearly. Even from another angle, if you understand the dosha of everything, you can never have anger or hatred towards anything in creation. You can never have anger. You can never have hatred towards anything in creation. Because of what? Creation means dosham. Creation means dosham. Okay. Perfectionism means, if creation means dosham, perfectionism means, huh? If creation is dosham, perfectionism means, ஒரே வார்த்தை தான் சொல்லணும், லெக்சர் கொடுக்கக்கூடாது. One word answer. Amit, don't give discourses. If, what is the question I asked? Ah? Ah. If creation is dosham, perfectionism is perfection, perfect. Perfectionism is insanity. Anshu, correct. Insanity it is. That's why you don't do anything perfectly. Yeah, you are very sane. Correct? That's why you give her a job. The way that she can teach you patience, nobody can. Correct, Anshu? Yeah, because she has understood. Perfectionism means insanity. Why? Dosha. Everything in creation has dosha in it. Elsewhere in chapter 3, he says, all actions has dosha, Arjuna. All actions has dosha in it. What are you talking? Gahana karmano gatihi. This is clarity in life. Are you able to follow? This vision is clarity. And once you get this vision, there is an equanimity. That equanimous state is called Vishnutvam. That equanimous state is called Vishnutvam. Somewhere it will be called as Shiva, somewhere it will be called as Vishnu, somewhere it will be called as Brahman. Thus, various words will be used depending on the context, poetry, meter, whatever it is. But all means only one thing. What? that state of Advaita. If you have to reach the state of oneness, you must be able to see that one which is appearing as name and form. If you can understand that one is appearing as name and form, you will not be affected by name and form. Just as the one biscuit is appearing as various names and forms. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa gives this beautiful example. An idol made of sweet. Anywhere you touch, anywhere you taste, it will be. Anywhere you taste, it will be sweet only, isn't it? Vishnutvam is seeing that oneness. That oneness can be seen only when the name and form is a manifestation of that oneness. If you see name and form as separate, and then you want to see oneness separately, that is not possible. So, oneness can be identified only in the name and form. But then when you look at the name and form, you get irritated, frustrated. Sahishnutvam will go. When Sahishnutvam goes, Vishnutvam also goes. Yeah. I can't stand, sir. I can't bear it. Adharma, I can't stand, sir. Yeah. Adharma, I can't stand. You are still alive, no? Yes. That means you have a lot of Sahishnu with Adharma because you are the embodiment of. Yeah. When you are able to bear yourself, why can't you bear? No, sir, I am Dharmatma, but others are all Dushtatma. I don't know, whatever word we. Yartham it is. Your anger has no. Have you ever noticed you get angry, others will laugh at your anger? Have you ever observed that? You get angry, you scream, you break something, you break your head, you break the wall, you break the house, you break everything, and the other is laughing at you, isn't it? Why? Because anger makes you, your anger is always fun only. Why? Because it makes no sense. But to you, I get angry only for right reasons, sir. I get angry only for right reasons, isn't it? These two children, they used to get angry and they laugh, and when they laugh, they get more angry. Small, kids. When my brother's daughter, Ishwaran's daughter, and my daughter come, they will play, they'll pick up a fight and they'll get angry, and I'll be watching it, laughing. More I laugh, more angry they get. Because when you are getting angry, you are expected to be taken seriously. No? What a trauma you are going through, what a pain you are going through, and you must be taken seriously, and then you are laughed at. Yeah. Does it make any sense? Vyartham it is, he says. And it is true. Your anger is always vyartham. Prayojaname illa. Why? Because, or at least it is good for others, entertainment. Yeah, your anger, your blood pressure will go, I don't know what all will happen in you, and very good temporary entertainment for others also. You get angry thinking others is going to get scared, isn't it? You get angry thinking others is going to take you seriously. And the reality of life is what? Aparna. Evlo anger eduthalum Shruti will turn back and say what? Yeah. And the way they look at you makes your anger more, isn't it? The way they look at your anger. Vyartham it is. Vyartham. It is vyartham. Not only it is vyartham, you create a habit of getting angry again and again and again, and you get angry again and again and again, and they are going to laugh at you again and again. A time will come when others will say, mad fellow, they'll be screaming and shouting. They ignore that fellow and go. Is that a life worth living? Vyartham it is. Vyartham kupyasi mayi asahishnuhu. Sarvasmin api atmanam pashya. Sarvasmin api atmanam pashya. It means, may you focus on that one entity. In order to focus on that one entity, you must understand it is the one that is appearing as many. If you have understood it is the one that is appearing as many, oneness will come. Are you able to follow? Just as you understand it is that one biscuit that is appearing as many, just as you understand it is that one gold that is appearing as many, just as you understand it is that one clay that is appearing as many, you will be unaffected by the nama rupa. And when you are unaffected by the nama rupa, evenness of mind will come. Which is what in chapter 2 again Bhagavad Gita he says, Samatvam yoga uchyate. I have said it any number of times, isn't it? Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Verse number 50. Verse number 50. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Verse number 48. Samatvam yoga uchyate. So yoga could two meaning he gives. One is samatvam, another is samatvam, another is kaushalam. That is the state of Vishnu. Kaushalam plus samatvam equals yoga. That is the state of Vishnu. Verse number 48 and verse number 50. Order ulta over. In 48, he will say evenness, samatvam. In 50, he will say kaushala, yoga. Therefore, you have to put yoga equals kaushalam plus samatvam. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. They have said it so. They have said it so. Who have said it? Those who have attained to that highest. Is there any clarifications? General clarification. How to differentiate an important sthana, status, such as mother or father, a person holds and the person himself. What if such a person really displays a poisonous behavior in an auspicious function? Mala. What if that person behaves in an auspicious function, they behave very, very negative. Egoism, no. Egoist. Why do they behave? Because they are just being egoist. What is ego? Ego is nothing but attention seeking, inferiority complex. A person having a very deep inferiority complex will always seek attention. That's the attention, constantly attention. Pay, look at me, look at me, look at me, pay attention to me, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. And when it is not done, when it is not given, what will they do naturally? Auspicious occasion, inauspicious occasion makes no difference. Auspicious or inauspicious doesn't make any difference at all. You know, 2 months back, one of the persons told me, in the, I don't know whether it happens in other cultures and all. Here, when there is a death in the family and when somebody visits the thing, they will be given some coffee, tea, no? They give. I don't know whether they do it in other cultures, but here they do. Anybody comes, they will give coffee, tea, because you are supposed to cry, and then after crying, you will be tired. You should be given some coffee, tea. Correct, huh? Came the sir, I went, sir, but nobody gave me coffee. Huh? What will you tell that person? He's telling me that he's complaining because nobody gave him coffee. Where he went to a funeral. There are so many people, but even whether it is auspicious or inauspicious, ego behaves like this. You follow Mala? Sthanamla inga periya vishayame kedai. Sthanam means a responsible person, like a person who you put on a pedestal behaves like this. That's what she's asking. Sthana means a pedestal. You put somebody on a pedestal, you give somebody a status, and that person behaves like this. Why? Because Mala, vitamin deficiency nala hair white ana wisdom நினைச்சுக்கிற மாதிரி. Hair turned gray because of vitamin deficiency. என்னமோ deficient. At the age of 18, I was looking like this. Oh, what a wisdom at 18 itself. Gray hair, is it a sign of wisdom? Star of it. Are you able to follow? Status is not because of anything. Father, mother, status are egoist. Therefore, what do you expect an egoist to do? An egoist is one who cannot be happy when others are happy. He can't stand the happiness of others. Why he can't stand the happiness of when I am suffering? How can you be happy? That's why when you have a headache at home and another person watching TV, you'll get angry. Why? Because you are having a headache and you are suffering. How can the other have an entertainment? You follow? That is simply being egoist. And what to do with such people? What to do with such people? Have compassion for their have compassion for their complexes. They are suffering from a deep complex. Have compassion for them. And what is the way of showing compassion to them? Pray for them. That's all. You follow? Mala. You can't do anything to them. Nothing can be done to them. The sthanam, they don't fit that sthanam. That's all. They don't fit. But nevertheless, they have it and they assume that. All that you can do internally is what? Pray for their welfare. Is okay, Mala? The fellow, same thing happened in a wedding also, no? The fellow will go for a wedding, come back saying, இனிமே அந்த வீட்டுக்கு போவே, any function, I will not go to that house. The fellow comes back angry. Why? Because he was not paid. When you go to a wedding, attention must be given to you. When you go to a funeral, okay, in a funeral, who's the center of attention in a funeral? Okay, who has to be the center of attention in a funeral? The dead fellow, isn't it? In the wedding, who has to be the center of attention? The people who's getting married. But your ego will tell you what? What will your ego say? In the wedding also, I should be paid attention. In the funeral also, I should be paid attention. That's why You get tired after the wedding. You know that? Where you are supposed to be joyful and blissful, you get tired. Why? Too many egos that you have attended to, you get exhausted. Because you are worried now. Who did I miss? Now, what will they think about me? Whether will they come back or not? All problems. Are you able to follow? Why? All this because of the ego. There's no sthanam there. What to do with them? You can't get angry with them. You can only have compassion towards them and pray for them. Auspicious function also, that's the height of ego. In my family, there is one person, very close person to us in our family. Deliberately, he will wear the most torn, dirty cloth and he will come and sit in a wedding. Deliberately, he will do it. Not that he's not having, you buy him the good one also, he will not do. He will come and sit. So lot of times, so why is he doing? I said, leave him alone. He's just seeking. I told them, he's just seeking attention. Leave him alone. Otherwise, nobody is coming and paying attention to him. You follow? And he is the father of that family, yeah? Who is he? He's the father of that family. Seeking attention all the time. Egoist. Biological ability to reproduce, he reproduced avladha. Father la agala. Mentally, that fellow is still another. Mentally, that fellow is still stuck in adolescent. In the biological ability of the body to reproduce, everybody reproduces. Avladha. Does that make them a father or a mother sthana? No, they don't. Any other clarification? Mala, சரியா? Yes.
Sir, Hari Om, sir, Ram Subramanian. Uh, Sir, in the context of creation having dosha and
In the
perfectionism,
context of
creation having dosha and
yes,
perfectionism that we took up earlier today. So
yes,
just wanted to bring up one query.
yes,
So anything that is created, sir, can have a drawback or flaw or dosha. I understand that.
yes,
So the question is, so even John Keats said, heard melodies are sweet, those unheard are sweeter.
yes,
So when something is not created or an unmanifest form,
yes.
can it be perfect? That is the query, sir.
Ram Subramanian. Question. If something is unmanifest, would it be perfect?
Yes.
There is no such thing called perfect. If unmanifest is perfect, manifest is coming from unmanifest. If manifest is imperfect, what should be the nature of unmanifest? How can manifest and unmanifest be opposite? Mango seedல இருந்து என்ன வரும்? Mango tree is unmanifest in the mango seed. Therefore, what will come out? So what is in unmanifest alone can come in manifest. Basic Ram Subramanian. Potential energy, kinetic energy. Kinetic energy எங்க இருந்து வருது? Whatever is potent only it can come, no. Oh, whatever is not there, how can it be the opposite? Therefore, what is not manifest is not perfect. Because somewhere we want to fix something as perfect. Somewhere we want to keep something as perfect. But you will want to keep everything perfect, no? Yeah. Matching dress. Why? Why do you want to wear matching dress? Why can't you just wear random thing and come? Oh, perfection, sir. No. You have a notion, no. You have a notion, isn't it? You have a notion. It's a notion. Notion means imaginary. If I come like this, if I do this, if I do that. So perfectionism is perfection in action, perfection in dress, perfection in work, perfection in thinking, perfection, 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 perfection. Ultimately, you become perfect. Yeah. Ultimately, what will happen to you? Insane. That's why I always say this. Remember this. The quickest way to become insane is there is a long winding path to become insane. There is the straightforward, quickest path to become insane. And what is the straightforward, quickest path to become insane? Turn into a perfectionist. Yeah. People say, no, sir, panna perfecta panna, illana pannave matta. Wow. Great. Is that great? Yeah. Amit, what I said is, people say, if I do, I'll do it perfectly. Otherwise, I won't do. I'll always say, you have a very good justification to support your laziness, that's all. Instead of saying, I will not do directly, you don't even have the honesty to say, I will sit lazy. Yeah, at least that honesty will get you out of laziness. Are you able to follow? Supposing if you have the guts to say, I will be lazy, I will not do anything, I will be a beggar, I will be lazy. You will get out of it very fast. But then you will justify it by saying, if I do it, I will do it perfectly. Otherwise, I'm a perfectionist. What is the defect in you? HR question. HR question. What is the defect in you? Where is our HR person? Shailesh. HR question. What is the defect in you? Answer. What is the defect? Huh? Perfectionist. அப்படியா வேலையே கிடையாது உங்களுக்கு இல்லையா? இஃப் ஐ வாஸ் ஹெச்ஆர் பர்சன் யாராவது பெர்ஃபெக்ஷன்ஸ்னா வேலையே கொடுக்க மாட்டேன் இல்லையா? முதல்ல ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் போயிட்டு வாங்கன்னு நினைச்சுடுவேன் இல்லையா? ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கோ ஃபார் சம் ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் அண்ட் தென் கம். வாட் இஸ் திஸ் பெர்ஃபெக்ஷனிசம்? துக்க தோஷ அனுதர்சனம். Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, dukkha, dosha, that dukkha and dosha, darshanam nale clear seeing. Clear? Anudarshanam na seeing it so precisely. Anu na atom, precise. Anu means precise, atom like. It means precision. So anudarshanam means the capacity to see it so precisely. What? Everything has dosham in it. Dosham means what? Dosham means something in it will be pleasant, something in it will be unpleasant. That is one meaning of the word dosham. Another meaning of the word dosham is fault. Another meaning of the word dosham is limitation. In Vedanta, we use the word dosha in the sense of fault, limitation. In what sense we want to use the word dosha? Do we use it in the sense of faulty or do we use it in the sense of limitation? We use it in the sense of limitation, not in the sense of faulty. Because everything in creation is limited. Adhukku ennathukku inferiority complex? See, having limitation is not inferior. Assuming that you are unlimited nakada insanity. Are you able to follow? Limitation is not a weakness, no. Because dosham na limitation arth. Are you able to follow? So dosham word has two meanings. One meaning of the word dosha is imperfect. Another meaning of the word dosha is fault. Another meaning of the word dosha is limitation. In Vedanta, we don't use the word dosha in the sense of imperfect. We don't use the word dosha in the sense of fault. We use the word dosha in the sense of limitation. Idukku proof enna? Nirdosham hi samam brahma. Brahmanuக்கு definition கொடுக்கும்போது நிர்தோஷம் hi samam brahman. Upanishad gives the definition. Nirdosham means limitless, not faultless, limitless. So dosham na limitation, nirdosham na limitless. Are you able to follow? Ram Subramaniam. Therefore, everything in creation is limited. And limitation is not weakness. Limitation is not inferior. Limitation is the reality. Equanimity will come when you are able to accept the reality. Equanimity comes when you accept the reality. Seriya? With this, we conclude and we will continue next week.
There is one more clarification.
Oh, yaradu. போட்டுருங்க அதையும். எனக்கு பசிக்கல. I'm not hungry still. Therefore, I'm continuing. When I get hungry, I will. Aparna, are you hungry? Yes.
Hariom.
Yes.
What's the difference between vichara and or are they the same?
The difference between vichara and
manan, like Shravan Manan.
The process of manana is through vichara. Manana has two parts. One is understanding what is taught. That is one part of manana. The very understanding itself will come up, will create new questions. Are you able to follow? Knowledge has two parts. One is understanding, and that very understanding itself will create questions. So that questioning part is vichara. So one part of manana, you can call it as vichara, inquiry. Yes. But we don't use it synonymously. We don't say vichara equals manana. No. Manana has two parts to it. One is understanding. You understand it in such a way that next question comes out of that understanding. Are you able to follow? That's why we say knowledge removes ignorance. When knowledge removes ignorance, not only it removes ignorance, it brings 10 new questions. 10 new questions. That is vichara. That's where it is the dual process. Is it okay, Amit?